them and say, no, we were meant to be here. We were meant to be on this stage at this time in this moment. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to curl up and go back in that corner. We are going to shine and let others see that.
A growing health, wellness, and leadership podcast designed for you to become your most empowered self.
Great day, amazing humans. Welcome to the Empowered in My Skin podcast, where our mission is to help 1 billion people in this world think in more empowering ways. Empowered humans empower humans. So you are the right spot to become a lead domino for empowerment today. So let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans. Welcome to the next guest episode on the Empowered in My Skin podcast. Our guest today is an inspirational public speaker and dynamic speech coach dedicated to helping people find their voices and achieve greatness. An award-winning speaker who transforms communication with impactful messages and boundless energy, to which I have been such gifted with over the years. As a top 3 finalist in 2021 World Championship of Public Speaking, he empowers individuals to surpass their aspirations. Leading Caesar Empire Speaking and Coaching, he collaborates with global organizations to enhance leadership and communication skills through practical, effective methods. His memorable stories and charismatic presence inspire greatness in everyone he reaches, and none of you watching or listening are any exception. So give this human a great big podcast. Welcome to Roger Caesar!
Man, I gotta bring you on the road. I need to bring you on the road with me, man. You gotta introduce me everywhere I go. My goodness, what's going on, girl?
Everything's going on. You know how many times they say this person needs no introduction? I'm like, no, everybody needs like a blow up introduction. Everybody, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And I think I should maybe start that business. I am just the introduction.
I'm telling you.
The introduction.
You would lead the way. You would make sure the whole crowd is ready to run through a wall before the speaker even goes on stage.
But you know how many times I've done that? And then the person gets up to the mic and they're like, yeah, my name is X. And it was like, dude, I have
you set it up. You put it on a platter right there for them.
Or they get up and they're like, how do I follow that? I'm like, oh my God, I just introduced you. What do you mean, how do I follow that? Anyway, so with every episode, and yours is no exception, my opening question is, what has been your most empowering thought of the day so far?
Man, that's a good question. I would say it's to make sure that everyone around me smiles and feels worth it and wanted.
And I know that you're
that is a hard thing. That is a hard thing to do sometimes. Yeah. But you know what? If you could find the wins, in making someone's day and make them realize how important and how powerful and how worth it they are, that's it.
Yeah, I think you can appreciate this. It's not mine. It's Michael Singer, who's a renowned world thought leader and author. He says, everything that passes by me is better because it did.
Wow, nice.
And I've adopted that as that is my responsibility when my human is anywhere as best as possible, is everything that passes by me is better because it did. Even if it's a difficult situation, it's just keeping myself responsible to that, you know?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. I love that.
So I'm going to test you. So when you were waiting in the waiting room, you saw a video. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And it was my voice, correct?
I didn't hear the voice part. There was no voice on it. There was
then you didn't have sound on.
Playing. No.
You didn't have sound on?
No, it didn't have the sound.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to have to share it. So anyway, it's a video of me and I'm reciting my favorite quote. And so the quote is by Marianne Williamson. It's, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And the quote goes on. But what I want to ask you, Roger, because I know you're so insightful and you have so much experience, and even just this episode is called Achieving Greatness. Mm-hmm. It requires us to, in my opinion, know our light.
Mhm.
Yet the quote implies that our deepest fear is that we're afraid of our light. And it's not
Mhm.
their darkness, it is the shine that most frightens us. So why do you think, in your experience, it is that most people are afraid of that brilliance, that light?
Because sometimes we are insecure of our own abilities, and the reality is a lot of times it comes from other people around us who we see who are reaching goals and heights that we can only imagine, but we stop ourselves from recognizing that we've got every bit that ability to be there and higher. And sometimes we look at these other people, and I've seen it and I've had it happen from time to time in my life, where you see someone who's achieved the goals that you're looking to get to, and you think, well, you don't think that you can get to that level. I don't know if I have, even though you do have it within you to do it. You keep on saying, no, 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 no. And so you push yourself back with this imaginary anchor that says, I'm not supposed to be there. And I had to recognize my greatness, my worth, who I am, and break that anchor and start recognizing that I had every bit the ability to make it wherever anyone else has and go as far and higher than they have. And that's not a knock on me as a person or saying that I am being egotistical in any way. It's just recognizing who you are and your worth.
So, well, you kind of went where I was hoping that I would be able to take you. Because I mean, I see you on stages. I've never been in your presence where you didn't unapologetically shine your light. You know, I'm just trying to think back to, I think we've really started to connect since 2018 or so, 20, maybe before that, 2017. No, about 2018, I'm thinking. And so, you know, what might that look like for Roger, if ever? And maybe there was, like you just said, there was a time where you had to break that. So what was the catalyst for you? And now, are you always like free to step into your light, or do you still have moments of, you know, I got to hold back my shine?
I tell this story a lot of times on stages, and I'm very public about it. When I was younger, I was the shy kid. I never wanted to be seen or heard. Stayed in that corner and hoping that not a teacher or anybody would actually call me out. Now, what I realized over time was being in that corner holds you back from sharing that light that you are supposed to have. And it really came to fruition when I started speaking. Now, we could say that it was when I took over my family business, but it really came to light when I started learning the art of public speaking and being in front of people and realizing, oh my God, I have the gift of gab. I can do this. And each time I got into a bigger situation, let me tell you something. That little boy would often sit here and say, I don't know if we should be doing this. This isn't the right thing. And I'd have to fight that feeling. And you asked me the question, has that happened now? Yes, it does. I was recently in Ireland, and I got to tell you, I had no idea who these people were. I've never met them before. There's only a few people that I may have met online here and there. But the reality is that I went in there blinded, so to speak, not knowing anyone, and I had to suppress that young boy. I had to suppress him and say, no, we were meant to be here. We were meant to be on this stage at this time, in this moment, and we're not going to stop. We're not going to curl up and go back in that corner. We are going to shine and let others see that. And that's what I do, but you have to constantly fight it. And maybe not everybody is like that, but I know for me, I can be vulnerable enough to say that I have to fight it at times.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, what is your process, if you're okay to share it? So please share what your process is from the time you get the request to say speak, like the request comes in and somebody wants you to come out to Ireland to speak to the group. Like, talk to us through that emotional process till you're on stage? What does that look like? And what kind of state, what do you go through?
Well, that first part of it is I start screaming loud all over the house. Like, "Ah! Yes, yes, yes." Right? I swear my kids sometimes say, Dad, you do realize you're in your 50s. Relax yourself. Stop that. And I got to tell them, oh, whatever. But no, the process is very simple for me. You go through, I have a great team that I work with who organizes and coordinates all of the information with regards to the presentation, the event. They do an amazing job getting everything very smooth for me so that I don't have anything that I have to do unless it's just to get up on stage. Then it's all about what they want, the organizers, what they are expecting in terms of the theme. I craft my speeches, I organize myself, and then it's me time.
So I have to ask you a question, like from the time, because I'm a little bit of an ROT, so right on time, but I am learning or I have a process too, but from the time you get the request to the date, when are you actually writing that talk, or even if it's a rinse and repeat, you're starting right away.
Right away. I'm working on it right from the beginning, and it gives me time to tweak it and fix it and make sure that it works with regards to that particular audience. So it's not a last minute thing at all. I may have ideas that may come up in the last minute, or when I'm on stage, there might be some audibles that come depending on what happens in that period of time. Like when you're on stage, somebody screams when they weren't supposed to scream, a phone goes off when it's not supposed to go off, or a moment when you thought everybody would just pass it by and it's an emotional time and you see people cry. Those are audibles. That's when a speaker should recognize those moments and use it to the best of their advantage on stage. So those things I leave open for those moments. But before that, I am constantly making sure that I am honing my craft right through.
Any doubt before you step on stage?
Never.
Wow.
I am great.
Yes, you are indeed. But even the greats among us.
The greatest will tell you that, from the Michael Jordans, it doesn't matter who it is. If your mindset isn't that you are the greatest, or you are in a spot where you have to be, it's your moment. Yeah. You're already 3 steps back.
So I think what came to mind for me, because my process is just slightly different. Like I do that. Then I have a little bit of fear when I start to give my fee out.
Oh, right? Yeah.
There's a little bit of. Yeah.
Come on, you and I know about this. We've talked about this. Yeah, that's always been the thing. That's always the hard part.
Yeah. Then they come back and they say, "Cool, we got that. We'll pay for it." And then you're like, "Why didn't I charge them more?"
Can I give you a joke? Can I give you a joke on that?
Yeah.
It's very early in my career. We're talking about, I think it's back in 2016 or so. I get a call from this company and they say, "Hey, we would like you to be our keynote speaker for our conference." Wow, it's my first time I'm getting a call like this. And I said, "Okay, where is it?" Thinking it's here in Toronto. And then all of a sudden they say, "No, it's in Jamaica." And I said, what? And he said, "Yeah, it's in Jamaica. So we will fly you out. We'll put you in the hotel and everything. We just need to know what your fee is." And I had no idea what to say because I had never had a situation like this yet. So I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want to say this price. And then they turn around and say, "Well, that's too much." And then I thought, this price, okay, that's too low. So I said, okay, I'll just go right here. And I gave them my price. And just like you just said, the person turned to me and said, "Jeez, we were going to pay you triple that." Now you can't go back and say, well. No, you can't do that then.
Actually,
so you give them the best. No, so then what you do is you go out there and you give them the best.
Yeah. So they invite you back.
So they invite you back.
Yeah. I love that. whether it's true or not, but I heard like a Michelle Obama approach is that what is the experience worth to you? So you never negotiate your rate.
Nope.
I think it's very powerful. So can you describe,
I think, can I say this? And I think it's important for up and coming speakers to understand that right there. You have to understand who you are as a speaker and your worth, right? And there are going to be times when somebody is going to lowball you or going to think that we're not going to pay that. And I have been guilty of saying, okay, well, what then can you pay? And I'll lowball myself just because I want to get in. Now, there are ways around it. You could find a way to barter and do things so that, hey, okay, well, if you're going to pay me this, I'm expecting you to do this for me. But never, never, never lose out on your worth.
Never negotiate your worth. And
never negotiate it.
I love that you double clicked on that. And I think it comes down to nobody can define it but yourself. And to your point, even if you go in with a lower rate, but you feel you're operating from a place of service. Like for me, I kind of give myself like 5 or 6, like out through the year. I'm like, God, give me 6, like really in service. Like I'm always in service, but like, like really service oriented gifts, right? Like where I could just kind of give away my gift for almost like for free. You know what I mean? Like kind of put those in front of me as well. So when they do show up, I know I've already made space for those,
I agree. Not everything deserves to be there. And there are moments when you have to say, you know what, for the good of the cause, why not? But it's the other ones when they can do it and they're not. Sometimes you have to walk away.
You have to walk away. Exactly. So when we opened up with what was your most empowering thought of the day, and it was really one that you responded from, in my opinion, it was really a place of service, right? So, and you are gifted to really motivate, inspire, empower people. But how, when you come across somebody who's struggling, how did you, like, not necessarily ready to hear your message in the spirit in which you want to deliver it. So how do you either approach it or tailor or, to be able to have the most amount of impact you can in that moment with them?
There are two thoughts to that, Nkichi. The first one is you meet people at their level and then hope to raise them up. And I learned that from my good friend and world champion speaker, Craig Valentine. He said, sometimes you'll go to an event and they're not ready for you and they may be here, right? And if you come in here, that might shock them, number one, and make them set back. So you come in at near or somewhere near that level and bring them up. The other thing is that oftentimes it's not about, and I was talking to a friend of mine about this today, it's not about the masses, okay? Sometimes it's about that one person in that audience, that one individual. And far too often we are consumed by wanting to appeal to the masses and hope that everybody in that audience is going to love and want to see us and they're going to go crazy. And yes, as a human being, when we're in this position on that stage, that is exactly what we hope for. But if you dig a little deeper, it's that one person in that audience that comes to you at the end of what you've done and say to you, I needed to hear that. I was going through something, or I know somebody who's going through it, and your message resonated with me.
So I want our listeners to achieve greatness by the end of this episode, right? What are your, and I read in your bio that you're really great at giving tactical methods to people. So how do I attain that? And how can I attain that every day?
Well, it's called the pause, and it's PAUSE. And it's an acronym, so here it is.
Okay.
Pause is the P is for.
Get settled in, folks. Get out those pens and paper. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's like, this is the time you
So
take
I'll give you a moment right there, okay?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
take
giving
a
them a
moment.
moment right now. Okay, it's called pause. Okay, the P is for positivity. Always resonating positivity to those around you. If there are people that you know, people that you care for, that you know need to feel empowered, positivity is always the way to do it. Giving them compliments, helping them to uplift themselves. So always bring positivity to your life and to the life of others. Always remember that. The A is for acknowledgement. We want to feel acknowledged, especially when it comes to things that we're doing, the work that we're putting in. You as an individual want to feel like people see what you're doing and you're making a difference, and that is important. So acknowledgement. The U is for underlining the importance of who you are. Underlining the importance of who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. I cannot stress that enough. Underlining the importance of who you are, and then taking that and helping others that you see that are struggling to understand their importance. The S is setting attainable goals. Understanding that, look, if you want to become the best that you can be and you want to find greatness, start with small, as our good friend Sam Demo would say, small, consistent steps. You want to make sure that you have goals that you can attain and you say, okay, I've got this, but here's where I'm going to start here, and I'm going to keep moving forward till I get to that point. Nobody wants to feel like they try to do things that are way out there and all of a sudden it doesn't work out. It's the hardest feeling in the world, and it sets you back. So set attainable goals. And then finally, it's all about the encouragement, all about encouraging people, all about making them feel like they have done great things. And for yourself, it's looking back at the process. Hey, what was I able to do to get here? What were the small wins? And I say this, you're going to hear me say this repeatedly, but look for the small wins and be encouraged by those. Okay? Don't keep looking at the negative thoughts and the negative things that might have happened along the way. Look for those small wins and keep encouraging yourself to keep going further and doing it for others. So pause.
And I love the pause, because to me it almost means like, I think achieving greatness requires a level of conviction of self. And I think you're less convicted when you're constantly on the move. And so when you said that pause, to me it was like, I just had this image of firmly planting my feet on the ground, because I think in your greatness you're most grounded. And so P, let's just go through this again. P is positivity.
Yep.
Give it.
Being positive, giving out positivity, feeling the positive vibes, not giving yourself that room to feel negative, and pushing that out to other people so that they also feel that positive vibe.
A is acknowledgement. I love that.
It's acknowledgement. Recognizing when people achieve something great, when they're doing something, give them their flowers, so to speak.
Yeah.
Give yourself flowers, so to speak.
Yeah.
To recognize that you've done something, you achieved something today. Yeah. Give yourself acknowledgement.
I love that. You can almost have an acknowledgement board. I know we have like what is it called? Vision boards, but there's an achievement board, there's an acknowledgement board. And to me, it's like, I see you, I hear you, and I honor you, but you're also saying that to yourself, right? Like, I see you is underlying the importance of who you are. I think that's fundamental.
Yep. That is just what it is right there.
S is setting attainable goals. And you said it many times, small, consistent wins. We have many of those throughout the day.
Yes, we do. And a lot of times we don't recognize it and see it. We don't see those small wins. So, we are oftentimes ready to only see the things that went wrong and focus primarily on that. Somebody asked me this the other day. They said, well, how was your day? And I said, oh man, it was all right. Well, what do you mean it was all right? I said, well, this thing happened and that thing happened. But, I had a great meeting with someone. I said, so your day wasn't bad. You had some good things happen. Why are you focusing on that? And that made me go, oh, wait a minute, you're right about that. You start focusing on all the good things and the attainable goals and the things that you were able to do that made your day great. The other things are learning experiences. And you look at it like that. Those are learning experiences. These are my wins.
Yeah. And then ease encouragement.
Needed. Everybody needs to feel that encouraging feeling that, hey, you did well today. You did something. Look in the mirror at the end of the day and find a reason to say, you know what? This may have happened, that may have happened, but you know what? We did this. And I'm going to stick to that. And I'm going to use that to catapult to tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be an even better day. And we're going to make it.
I love it. The pause. You heard it here, folks, by the great Roger Caesar. The pause, the way for you to achieve your greatness. So I'm gonna take this and ask, scaling that. So you work with a lot of organizations, I do know.
Yeah.
Probably in the corporate space. And so now we're talking about at scale. How do you take something like that, or the pause, or some of your other, sort of thoughts around leadership and communication skills? How are you presenting that to organizations, and what results have you seen as a result of them adopting some of these tactical, how has it helped them?
I think with the fact that I've had over 2 decades of experience as a business owner when I was running the family business, and we had the family business for 40 years.
Wow. What was your family business?
It was in the trucking industry.
Oh, okay.
Right. And what I learned over that period of time, good or bad, but I learned how to be an effective leader. And we've heard this before, that leading is not by being on top and looking down. It is from the bottom and lifting people up. And oftentimes, even with my staff, you're so caught up in if you didn't do a delivery on time or if something didn't happen. But then there are other moments when you have to understand how beautiful it is to, wait for it, pause. And see everything for what it was. So it's, hey, you did a great job today. At least you tried to get there on time. And this is what I try to help with, even with companies, in how they deal with their employees. How do you maximize the amount of work and how they are able to continuously do better at their job, when you are constantly telling them, don't do this, don't do this. How come you didn't do this? Why didn't you do this? Find the wins, find the positivities, find the things that make them feel good. Acknowledge when they do well. And I do workshops, and I also do team building exercises while I'm there to help them understand how valuable this is. And you see sometimes the employees will be a little nervous at first because their boss is sitting right there in the room and they don't know if they should say stuff. And I say, you know what? This is what's needed. They need to understand, or they need to see what it is that they're doing so they can get better at it. And by using the pause effect, that helps them to say, okay, well, my boss needs to learn how to acknowledge a little more, or as a leader, I need to learn how to give off more positive vibes to my employees. And this is how we do it. And we work through different variations of things that we work through and show them just how they can achieve this. And it's fun. At the end of the day, when you see them all coming together and they're hugging and they're doing exercise, here's one of the things that we often do. A funny little exercise that we do, or a game, so to speak, we get a hula hoop. And we tell them all to join together. You ever seen that, where you cannot break the chain? You've never seen that, huh?
With a hula hoop?
So you have yeah, that's right. So you got, everybody is connected together. They wrap their arms together And you cannot break the chain. And what is the significance of that? It's to show you that with a team must be as strong as its weakest link. And then what you have to do is you have to try and get that hula hoop over your body through
Okay.
and
Yeah.
onto the
Okay.
next person without breaking the chain. And it becomes a fun exercise, but the overall meaning behind it is to show how you can work together in fun organizations and still achieve greatness.
And how about the distractors? Because I think that that's great, but you're going to have some distractors or detractors. I'm going to say detractors. As a leader, how can we best work with those folks to not, I'm going to say, to not infect the work and the progress that we're trying to make elsewhere?
Well, it's a commitment, all around commitment, and you're going to have those type of people, and I've had them in my career as well. You're going to have those individuals who will always be slacking, who will always find a negative thought behind everything. And in those cases, you have to, as a leader, you have to find the strengths in those individuals. Because again, people love to hear that they do something great. People love to hear that they have something going on that's good. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the job. It could be something that's going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, but it's affecting the job performance. And that's the moment when you pull back, you pull somebody aside and you sit down and you have a conversation. And you first start off with, hey, listen, Jim, I realize that, you're one of our best employees here. The things that you do online, nobody else does it. But I'm noticing that there's some negative vibes from you. And if that person wants to sit there and say, oh, no, nothing's wrong, I'm good. Okay, well, how about this? And you try and work towards finding the real root of the problem before assuming that it's because it's work related. It could be as simple as they're having issues at home. It could be simple as they just got bad news about something to do with their health. You have no idea what is going on with anybody who you're working with unless you have that conversation. But if you come across negatively, those are the moments that as leaders, we get the pushback from our employees.
Yeah, I like that. And I think what spoke to me most about that is just recognizing intrinsically in everyone is good. Yeah. And you might have to take a little bit more time, but back to your whole thing about leadership from the bottom up and raising people up. It's important as leaders. I think we have to pause and take that time and just make sure that everyone is crossing over the finish line.
Oh, perfect way of putting it. That's right.
So you are a master storyteller. And before I wind down this episode, I want to just touch on storytelling. You are masterful at it. Let's first of all talk about what do you believe is the value of storytelling? Because I think it's a skill that many don't try to figure out how to do well. But what's the value? How can we get people excited about learning?
Stories bring connections. It's as simple as that, but I will open it up and explain. The beauty of a story in any speech when you're delivering is it allows the audience to do two things. Number one, it allows them to connect with you. Number two, it allows them to see that you have gone through something similar and you have the right then to give us some advice, give us a message that can help us if we are going through it. I often tell people that your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. So you have to realize how important it is for you to pull that out of your own soul and be vulnerable in those moments, whether it's mad, sad, happy, or glad, it don't matter. Whatever it is, it's allowing them to feel that they are a part of you for that 4 minutes, that 30 minutes, that 1 hour. They are with you and connected to you in that moment to feel like they can walk your story and your situation. And if they're going through it, that they have someone who they can look at and say, okay, if they dealt with it that way, maybe that could work for me. So it's always important. Your stories are personal. Your message is universal.
Hey,
Your
your
stories
story is
are
personal
personal.
and your
Your
message is
message is
universal.
universal.
I love
Everybody has
that.
a story. Everybody has a story to tell. Everyone. Don't kid yourself. I work with clients and they often will come and they'll say, "Oh, I don't have any stories in my life." I go, "Yes, you do. Open your eyes.
Yeah.
You're living one right now. Every part of your life is a story to tell." Problem is that oftentimes people don't want to share those stories because it's either embarrassing or it's sad or it got them angry, and they throw it in the back of their minds and throw away the key because they don't want anybody to hear it, or more importantly, they don't want to remember it themselves. But those are the same stories that Johnny in the back of the room or Mary in the back of the room is literally waiting in anticipation to hear because they're going through it.
I like that last part because it's like it's almost selfish to take your stories with you and not share them with the world, because the world needs what lives inside of you. Isn't that
Yes.
true?
Very true.
So on the path to achieving greatness, how will storytelling help me? Again, I want people to leave here feeling like, okay, I have the tools. Pause and storytelling. How does it help me?
It helps you, and well, let me pull it back. The reason why it's wonderful, it can be therapeutic in more ways than you know. It allows you to get to let this out of you. Now, as speakers, we'll often say this: don't tell a story if you haven't dealt with it yet. That is very important. Because you don't want to go on stage trying to deliver a very emotional story and you haven't fully grasped it yet. But what's great about it and what's awesome when you do a speech like that is seeing the reaction of an audience when they say, "Oh my God, I love this. I love this story. I love that you were able to talk about you being on the side of a road. You broke down, your car broke down. You didn't take care of it, but your dad came at 4 o'clock in the morning. And even though he was mad, he still had the wherewithal to say to you, 'Don't wait until it's too late.'" And taking that message and saying to the audience, when have you waited until it was too late with a relationship, a friendship, at work, or something that has to do with around the house or anything like that in your life? When did you wait until it was too late? And the way they say, "Oh my God, how did you make that personal story become a universal message?" Right? That's the greatness of a speaker, when they can take their stories, connect with an audience through that story, and then share a universal message that allows them to say, "I can take that right now and use it in my life."
Yeah. And I do want to, because I don't want to alienate everybody, because not every listener, you're going to go out there and be a public speaker, but you do speak. But you do speak every day in life. And many of us listening on this podcast are leaders, and we are leading our children. We're leading experiences. We're leading teams. Use stories to connect, and to connect in a very universal way. I love that you share that last bit. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I was going to take the quote, which is, anyway, you told a quote about storytelling, and then after you gave another quote about it's not personal, it's universal. So now I'm like,
I'll say it again. Your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart.
Right. So maybe listeners vote which is the quote of the episode. Because both are really great for me, and I'm gonna have to now figure that out. Thanks, Roger. Thanks.
No
okay,
problem.
So now I'm gonna take you through rapid thrivers. When you think of somebody who inspires you, who comes first to mind and why?
Wow. Gabby Mamone.
Oh wow, Gabby's gonna love this. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is. I often you would probably want to go with a celebrity or something like that. But Gabby has always proved to me that she is unstoppable. No matter how far or how hard or how much things she's going through, she always finds a way to come on top and put a smile with it.
Yeah, and I have to commend you. Like, I'm going to give you flowers because Gabby, for those of you that listen to the podcast, Gabby is my co-host, Empowering Bites. I might have to share this with her. I will share this with her, but I think what I love about you, Roger, is how you support her. So Gabby has MS. For those of you that do listen and understand and know Gabby's story, and every so often she needs to go to the hospital to get tested, right, to see if the lesions are increasing on her brain, and she didn't want to go alone. And I understand that you typically always go with her. And so, I mean, you're just a special human. I want to give you flowers because that's a very selfless act, and it means the world to her. Like, it's just every time she tells a story, it really catches my heart. It's you're a great person. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
this is what friends do, right?
I know it, but still, it is a selfless act, Yeah. What is a app that empowers you?
What is a
app? Like an app.
Oh, an app. Wow.
Yeah, on your phone.
I don't know. The only one that I have that I really love is positive. I have one that gives me positive quotes every day.
Okay, I have the motivation app. What is yours?
Yeah, I have
is it the motivation app?
Oh God, I'd have to go and get my phone. I can't
remember.
What it is, but okay. I usually go on there and it will give me a positive quote of the day, and I love that.
Okay, I love that. I love that. What is a daily activity that helps you stay empowered?
Wow, going to the gym, working out for one. I'm always loving to be in there. It's there for many reasons. If you're having a rough day, I feel like you can go inside the gym and just release.
Yes, indeed.
And then the other thing for me is just being with my kids.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that. What is a book that has empowered you and really helped you thrive?
Rise by Kwesi Millington.
Oh wow! Okay, Rise. Okay. I love that you're shouting out like
they both. I'm not about like I love. There's a lot of people that I could put in there, but the rapid fire thing. I got to give a shout out to the people that I know close to me that are doing great things. And Rise is a great book by Kwesi Millington.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna have to let him know. You gotta listen to this episode all the way to the end. There's something there for you. And what is a misconception, right? So that people have of you, Roger, whether they're seeing you on a grand stage in Ireland or listening to your podcast, which you're gonna have to share with the listeners after what it is, or just like I said, when you walk into a space, greatness is like it's like trying to hurry to catch up to you. It's like, it's there in your presence. So what is a misconception that people have as they kind of see you in all of that they get wrong about you?
That everything comes easy for me. Flat out. That everything comes easy for me. I work hard. Behind the scenes, nobody sees how much work I put in. Nobody sees how much time I give to help my community. Nobody sees how many times I'm doing youth leadership programs and helping them. Nobody sees when a Sunday I take the entire day and I do coaching. They don't see that. They just assume that everything comes easy. So I put in a lot of work, and there are a lot of times when I'm exhausted from just overall things that have gone wrong in my day. But I come out every single time and I try to put a smile and do the same thing. And I get that from Gabby. So yes, there's another shout out to her as well, because she's always smiling no matter what. And it's infectious to me to always go on stage and put my best foot forward.
And it is not easy. I get that. And, I'm going to give you flowers more because when I was at my last organization and we were organizing I think it was a STEM program for young kids, and I needed someone to come and motivate them and speak to them. And I remember being fearful a bit to reach out because I didn't have a budget. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to afford this guy, And he came and did it pro bono. Like, it wasn't even like you taught them storytelling. Remember the art of storytelling? Yep. Yep. And you shared your skill and your expertise without blinking an eye. And you just I felt like you did it for me. And I really am grateful. So
Oh,
yeah, you have a really great
for
heart.
you, girl, for you. Woo! Come on now, come on now.
You have a great heart. So, Roger, where do we find more of you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram, Caesar. That's CAESAR.empire on Instagram. I'm on YouTube as well. I am on a podcast which is called Great Convos, not combo, but convos, where we always say whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great convos with my good friend and partner, Alexandre Matt, who is also a champion as well. And that is
you bring on guests onto that podcast?
Yes, we do.
So
We're always looking for guests. We're always looking.
I plugged that one because I'm like, how come Sister Friend hasn't been invited yet?
We're getting there. I mean, listen, we're in our 4th season.
Don't tell me that.
I'm so surprised.
Don't tell me that.
Listen, because it has been a whirlwind with people who have been saying, oh, we want to be on your show, want to be on the show. And then we also have time for ourselves to have conversations just between the two of us. And we do that every Monday at 12 o'clock. 12:30, sorry, 12:30. Yeah.
I think you
every Monday at 12:30, but we haven't started season 4 yet. We're starting it on August the 12th, so look out for it. It's on LinkedIn and Facebook.
And look out for the episode with Engaging Waffle Robinson. It's coming up.
Yes. I got you now. I'm looking at this. I'm writing it down right now. I'm writing it down right now because I'm putting her on it. Yes, I got to talk to him and tell him she's coming on. There.
So
done.
This podcast is called Empowered in My Skin. And I want to hear from you, Roger Caesar, what that means to you.
I'm going to have some fun with this. Let me see if I could do this. Let's see if I still have this. I am empowered in my skin. From the movements of my walk to the way that I hold myself, the accountability of me and who I am, the way I show up at every event and the way I show up to other people. I am empowered in my skin because to me, it is not just my skin, it's skin deep. It's who I am within that brings me without. It is the person that comes out each time and shares his stories and is vulnerable. I am empowered to be me. There is nothing that I won't do or say to help someone if I can. It is who I am. It is my personality. Empowered in my skin means that I will always feel that I can go out and do magical things. But while I am doing those magical things, I am bringing wonder to others and hoping that they will walk out and find the greatness within themselves and be unstoppable.
Hey, Empowered in My Skin by Roger Caesar.
That's crazy. Wow.
I know. I love that you do that. I've seen that a couple of times. I love that you do that. And it comes from your heart. I love it. So, Roger, this is where, sadly I have to come to the end of this episode, but I know I've given I've given you flowers, but I can keep going.
I can give you some. Hold on. Let me do my part too. Let me give you flowers too, because you know what? You are absolutely amazing. I have seen you doing so many things. We have even worked together from time to time, and I have watched and seen how many people are inspired by you each and every day from the work that you do. You keep on doing your thing. You have already found greatness, and you keep on soaring and showing other people to find theirs around you.
Thank you. And I thank you for coming on here and this platform and sharing your energy and just keep being a really great friend. I think about there hasn't been a time where I've been in your presence and I haven't felt the rise. And so I think that is testament to just your desire to really leave people feeling better simply because I had an experience with you. And you've actually helped me elevate my game as a speaker. And you just really gave to me freely. And you are powerful beyond measure, my friend. Okay. And to everyone that's listening, I'm telling you, heard it here, how to achieve greatness. You pause and you learn to share your story.
That's right.
Because it's not just, it's personal, it's universal. And so this is where I have to actually close off this episode. And I'm just going to say, we're out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you have it. I trust that you're feeling more empowered in your skin. And as the late Dr. Maya Angelou says, when you get, you give, when you learn, you teach. So it would mean so much for us at EIMS if you share this episode and tag us or teach an insight that you learned from today's episode on your socials and tag us. And remember to go over onto iTunes and leave us a review or follow us on socials at Empowered in My Skin. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.